Let me ask you something. You've probably spent years, maybe decades, saving for retirement. You've thought about when to take Social Security. You've looked at your Medicare options. You've watched your 401k statements and maybe even talked to a financial advisor about how to make your money last. But here's what almost no one has planned for: the one expense that can quietly and completely unravel everything you've built. I'm talking about long-term care. And right now, there is a crisis unfolding in this country that most people won't find out about until it's already too late to do anything about it. Today, I'm going to walk you through exactly what the long-term care crisis is, why it's getting worse, why Medicare will not protect you the way you think it will, and what smart retirees are doing right now to protect their income and their legacy. If you're within 10 to 15 years of retirement or already there, this is one of the most important videos you will watch this year. So stay with me. So let's start with the basics. What exactly is long-term care? Long-term care is any ongoing assistance you need because you can no longer do everyday tasks on your own. Things like bathing, getting dressed, eating, moving from your bed to a chair, using the restroom. These are what health professionals call activities of daily living, or ADLs for short. And here's the reality. As we age, the chances that we'll need help with one or more of those activities goes up significantly. In fact, according to the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, about 70% of people who reach age 65 will need some form of long-term care during their lifetime. 70%. Now, when most people hear long-term care, they picture a nursing home. But long-term care is much broader than that. It includes a home health aide who comes to your house a few hours a day, assisted living facilities where you have your own apartment but get help with daily needs, memory care units for those dealing with Alzheimer's or dementia, and yes, skilled nursing facilities for more intensive around-the-clock care. Here's where it gets serious. The average person who needs long-term care will need it for 2 to 3 years, but 1 in 5 people, 20%, will need care for 5 years or longer. And the cost? We'll get into the full numbers shortly, but I'll give you a preview right now. A private room in a nursing home can run over $100,000 per year. And that number is going up every single year. This is a crisis no one is planning for, and it's hiding in plain sight. Now here's the part where I need you to really pay attention, because this is the most common and most costly misconception I hear from people who are planning for retirement. I have Medicare. I'm covered. I understand why people think that. Medicare covers so much of our health care and retirement. But when it comes to long-term care, the custodial day-to-day assistance we just talked about, Medicare's coverage is extremely limited. And most people don't find out until they're already in a crisis. Here's what Medicare actually covers. Medicare will cover skilled nursing facility care, but only under very specific conditions. First, you have to have had a qualifying hospital stay of at least 3 days. Then, Medicare covers your care in full only for the first 20 days. From day 21 to day 100, you'll owe a significant daily copay, and that number adjusts every year. And after day 100, Medicare coverage stops completely. So if you need care for 2 years, which is completely average, you're on your own for the vast majority of the time. Now, some people say, well, what about Medicaid? And yes, Medicaid does cover long-term care, but here's the catch. Medicaid is a needs-based program. To qualify, you essentially have to spend down your assets to near poverty level thresholds, and the rules vary by state. That means the retirement savings you've worked your entire life to build could have to be depleted before Medicaid steps in to help. That's not a retirement plan. That's a financial emergency. Let's talk numbers for a moment, because I want you to see exactly how long term care costs can devastate a retirement portfolio that looks perfectly fine on paper. Let's say you retire with $500,000 saved. That's not unusual. In fact, that's right around the median retirement savings for Americans in their 60s. Using the traditional 4% withdrawal rule, you'd pull out about $20,000 per year from your portfolio. With Social Security on top of that, many people can make that work. Now, let's say 5 years into retirement, your spouse needs long term care. Maybe it's a stroke, maybe it's dementia, whatever the cause. The care costs $80,000 a year. That's actually a conservative number for assisted living or in home care in many parts of the country. Now, instead of withdrawing $20,000 a year, you're pulling $100,000 a year. Your portfolio doesn't just shrink, it collapses. And remember, your spouse still needs income. You still need income. The bills don't stop coming just because a health crisis hits. This is what I call the double threat. The person receiving care needs funding for their care, and the healthy spouse still needs a reliable income stream to live on, both at the same time. And here's something I talk about often on this channel. If those large withdrawals happen during a market downturn, you're facing what's known as sequence of returns risk. You're selling assets when their value is low, locking in losses and permanently reducing your portfolio's ability to recover. This is exactly why an income floor strategy, having guaranteed income that covers your core expenses no matter what, is so critical in retirement. Because without it, a long-term care event doesn't just hurt, it can be catastrophic. Now, I want to give you some context for why this is a crisis and why the problem is accelerating, not slowing down. First, demographics. Right now, 10,000 baby boomers are turning 65 every single day. That trend continues through 2030. We have never had this many people entering the age range where long-term care becomes a real possibility. The demand for care is surging. But here's the problem. The supply of caregivers is not keeping up. The long-term care workforce, home health aides, nursing assistants, facility staff, is shrinking. Wages are rising, burnout is high, and workers are leaving the industry faster than new ones are coming in. That means access to quality care is getting harder, and the cost of that care keeps climbing. In fact, long-term care costs have been rising at a rate that outpaces general inflation. The cost of a nursing home or assisted living facility today is significantly higher than it was just 10 years ago, and that trend shows no sign of stopping or slowing down. And on the insurance side, traditional long-term care insurance, which used to be the go-to solution, has become increasingly expensive and difficult to obtain. Many major carriers have exited the market entirely. Premiums for existing policyholders have increased dramatically, and people in their 60s trying to buy a policy today, the options are limited and the costs can be prohibitive. So we have more people who need care, fewer caregivers to provide it, rising costs, and a shrinking insurance market. That is a crisis, and the people most at risk are the ones who haven't planned for it. All right, so now the real question. What can you actually do about this? There are three primary ways people fund long-term care in retirement. I'm going to walk you through each one: the good, the bad, and the reality check. Strategy number one: self-insure, pay out of pocket. This means you set aside your own savings to cover long-term care costs if they arise. And for some people, this makes sense. If you have liquid assets of $1 million or more, you may have the financial cushion to absorb a long-term care event without devastating your plan. But the risk is real. Longevity risk. Living longer than expected, combined with market volatility, can erode even a substantial portfolio. And if both spouses need care at different points, the costs can stack in ways that even a large nest egg can't absorb. Strategy number 2, traditional long-term care insurance. This is what many people's parents or older colleagues may have purchased years ago. You pay a monthly premium, and if you need care, the policy pays a daily or monthly benefit towards your costs. The challenge is the use it or lose it nature. If you never need care, you've paid years of premiums and received nothing back. And as I mentioned, the market has contracted significantly. Premiums have increased, underwriting has gotten stricter. For some people, this may still be worth exploring, but go in with your eyes open. Strategy number 3, the hybrid solution. Long-term care riders on annuities. This is where I want to spend a little extra time because this is the option that many people have never heard of. And it's the one that's gaining the most attention in retirement planning today. Certain fixed index annuities come with what's called a long-term care rider or an enhanced income rider. Here's how it works in simple terms. Your money grows inside the annuity with protection from market losses. And if you ever qualify for long-term care benefits, typically by being unable to perform 2 of the 6 activities of daily living, your income benefit can double or even triple during that care period. What makes this different from traditional long-term care insurance? There's no use it or lose it. If you never need care, your money continues to grow. It can pass to your beneficiaries. Your premium isn't gone. The asset remains yours. And from a tax perspective, in some structures, long-term care benefits from an annuity may come out income tax free, which is a significant advantage, especially when you're thinking about IRMAA and managing taxable income in retirement. Is an annuity with a LTC rider the right fit for everyone? No, but it's absolutely worth understanding, and that's a conversation I'd encourage you to have with a specialist who can run the numbers based on your specific situation. Here's one more piece of this puzzle that I don't want you to overlook, and it connects directly to something I talk about a lot on this channel. When a long-term care event hits, most people's instinct is to start pulling money from their IRA or 401k to pay the bills. And that makes sense on the surface, but here's what people don't anticipate. Those withdrawals are taxable income. And if those withdrawals push your income above certain thresholds, you could trigger what's called IRMAA, the income-related monthly adjustment amount. That's the Medicare surcharge that kicks in when your income exceeds a set level. And it can add hundreds of dollars per month to your Medicare Part B and Part D premiums. So now you're dealing with a long-term care crisis and higher Medicare costs at the same time. That's the kind of compounding financial pressure that can accelerate portfolio depletion in a way that's very hard to recover from. This is exactly why I always look at the full retirement income picture with my clients, not just investment returns, but the tax consequences of every dollar coming out, and how that affects Medicare costs, Social Security taxation, and the overall sustainability of the plan. Smart income structuring through strategies like Roth conversions, qualified charitable distributions, and guaranteed income floors can help you manage your taxable income even during a long-term care event. And that's planning that needs to happen before the crisis hits, not during it. So let me bring this all together for you. Long-term care is not a remote possibility. It's a statistical likelihood for most people who live in their 70s, 80s, and beyond. The costs are real. The gap in Medicare coverage is real. And the impact on a retirement portfolio, especially the one without a guaranteed income floor, can be devastating. Here's who I want to speak to directly right now. If you have a spouse or partner, a long-term care doesn't just affect the person receiving care. It puts your household income under enormous pressure at exactly the wrong time. If you have a family history of Alzheimer's, dementia, or chronic illness, this conversation is not optional, it's urgent. And if your retirement income plan is built primarily around withdrawing from a portfolio without any guaranteed income stream underneath it, a long-term care event is one of the greatest threats to your financial security that you're not talking about. The good news is that there are solutions, but like most things in retirement planning, the time to put them in place is before you need them, not after. Before I let you go, let me leave you with the 3 things I want you to remember from today's video. Number 1, Medicare does not cover long-term care in any meaningful long-term way. Do not build your retirement plan around that assumption. Number 2, long-term care costs can collapse a retirement portfolio faster than almost any other expense, especially without a guaranteed income floor in place. Number 3, there are smarter solutions available today, including hybrid annuity strategies with long-term care riders that most people have simply never been told about. Knowledge is protection, and that's exactly what this channel is here to give you. If you found this video helpful, please hit that subscribe button so you don't miss what's coming next. If you want more information, please check out the link in the description box below and get the free booklet, Avoid Mistakes in Buying LTC Insurance. The LTC is long-term care. Drop a comment below and let me know. Have you thought about long-term care as part of your retirement plan? I read every comment and I'd love to hear where you are in your planning. Until next time, this is Retirement Security Simplified, where we specialize in turning confusion into confidence, one conversation at a time.